recording. Okay, I start.
Okay. Hi. I am from northern coastal California, very rural part of the world. And so I'm sort of far away from these things that are happening, but I'm very interested and engaged with the energy of both XR and I've been aware of the Empathy Project, Edwin, in the Bay Area, but I haven't been an active participant. So
Okay,
I bring more curiosity than experience.
okay, okay. Thank you. Andrea, would you introduce yourself once
Hello.
more?
Yep, Andrea. I'm in England, Horsham, XR. I'm in Labour's environmental campaign and Labour for a Green New Deal, trying to get both of them interested in community organising.
Mhm.
Trying to,
Howard, do you mind closing the door?
Mhm. Okay, thank you. In Eva, would you?
Hi, I'm calling in from Toronto. I am pretty new for empathy circles, and I am trying to join all the Zoom meetings that I can learn better and be an active participant soon. But today, my sore throat is not helping, so I would really like to only listen today. But I hope that's okay with you, because will you be okay with 3 people discussing?
Okay. I have one request, so we both can model the method, and then you will listen. First round, if you would help me to model the method to show Andrea and Rebecca how it works, okay?
Yes, I will try
Okay.
my best.
Okay. And my other request is well, I hope you understand what I'm saying. My English is not my mother tongue, so it's a little bit difficult to speak English, but I hope I will manage. And we have rule that when we don't speak, we mute ourselves so background in noise doesn't disturb other participants. Okay. So let's start. Maybe Eva, you would be first person who speaks, and I would reflect you back. Okay.
Yeah.
And the topic is how to build the facilitation network, or any network that might strengthen the democracy, future democracy system.
Mhm.
Okay. So I start time.
Yeah. And for the record, English is my second language too. I'm originally from Turkey, Istanbul. So good luck with the language too. So about this, how to build facilitator network through empathy circles is very dear to my heart, because I am I'm questioning how I can bring first my circles into the conversation. And for a couple of weeks now, I am trying to find the best way to open this group up to my friends or my circles who would be interested.
Mm-hmm.
Because as far as I understand.
May I try?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So first of all, what I heard was that you are also English is not your first language, and you are originally from Turkey, and then you were thinking about empathy circle, if I understand correctly, about empathy circle as a part of your friends community, and you're trying to bring empathy circle into the dialogue within your community among your friends. Is that what you mean?
Yes, well, I haven't started trying yet. I am planning, actually. That would be a better version, because for now, I really want to learn myself. That's why I haven't shared about Empathy Circle with any of my friends yet. I want to be really ready. And I have a path that I will be sharing the information video, and I will be talking about like why I believe that my friend will I assume will like to join. So I want to make the right move instead of making it like a daily conversation. I want to make it more a special sharing moment with my circles.
Okay, so you have your own project you running, and you thinking about bringing empathy circle to this project as well, but you preparing to it. You don't want to make it a daily sort of daily situation, but you want to use empathy circle in some kind of special dialogue, as I understand.
Yes.
And you preparing the whole path, you name it path. You preparing the whole path to do that right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I find this very important, that I am hoping to be more comfortable with empathy circles, that I can that I will be comfortable to be a facilitator too.
So you're thinking about being a facilitator as well as other facilitators. You're just preparing to this process through participation in as many circles as you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I feel fully heard.
Thank you.
Caroline.
Rebecca, Andrea, I show my smartphone, so it indicates that time is up. But as you can see, Eva was ending her thought and I was reflecting her. So we don't just break our speech, we continue unless we, until we end the thought, the idea, okay? So feel comfortable ending your thought. So now I was active listener. Now I'm become active. I become speaker, and I choose another active listener. So I will choose you, Andrea, if I may. You can unmute yourself because now we will be speaking.
Oh.
Okay, and I start time. Oh, I hear another participant. Okay. I feel a little bit nervous because, as I said, language is not my, it's not my mother tongue, so I feel a little bit nervous. But I hope I will manage. This is follow-up of our topic about network of facilitators. We spent a lot of time already, a lot of meetings already speaking about it. And what is the most important thing for me is connection between empathy circle, something we call regenerative culture in XR movement, and future democracy. I see empathy circle as a tool for regenerative culture and for future democracy as well. I stop there to give you a chance to reflect.
Okay, so you said you were nervous because you're not speaking your first language.
Mm-hmm.
You said that this is a follow-up meeting, you had similar discussions like this before. And you said that you see Empathy Circle as being a tool which can help with future democracy and with the regenerative culture that we're trying to build within XR.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, yeah, thank you. And what is important to me, I believe that actually future democracy, or simply democracy, highly inclusive democracy, that as we understand future democracy in Future Democracy Hub, um, such a democracy is a part of regenerative culture for me. Regenerative culture is kind of a huge, very complex idea of alternative society, alternative to the civilization we live in, an alternative to the civilization we live in, different culture that actually might prevent the catastrophe and the extinction of many species and the catastrophe, climate catastrophe on the earth. So that's what is regenerative culture, and democracy, inclusive democracy, is part of it, is within it. Okay, I stop that.
Okay, so you were saying that democracy and future democracy is part of the regenerative culture, and the regenerative culture would change all of society in a way that would protect us from ecological collapse.
Yes, I think that actually, well, that's what I would like to happen, but that's my ideal of regenerative culture. That's something we need to build. There is no such culture right now in the movement. We should build it. We should try to create it. As well as we practice facilitation, as we practice empathy circles, and we practice some tools like people's assemblies within the XR movement.
Okay, so you were saying you wanted to, this is your idea of how you want to change the world, and you want to build regenerative culture within XR and through XR to try to create this new society.
Yeah, thank you. I feel heard. My time is up, so now you become speaker and you choose active listener. And it's good to give chance to everyone, but it's up to you whom you choose.
Well, I'll talk to Rebecca as well.
Okay, Rebecca, you are active listener.
I mean, I've been thinking about two things lately. I've been thinking about how to develop my local area to kind of build democracy there. And I've been thinking about how to support the national network. So my local area, it's got a lot of money. A lot of people have money, but I think there isn't a lot of enthusiasm for change. I don't think we can get control of. I don't think we can get the council on our side. Like flat pack democracy doesn't seem very possible here. But hopefully, I can connect with the churches, get them to support a kind of build up of wealth in the hands of kind of democratic networks, and then we can use those to bring people in and kind of get people real kind of democratic control over their society. I don't really know how to go from the hodgepodge of different initiatives I see at the moment to kind of, I don't know what the next step is. I don't know what the step after that is. I don't really know how to plan, how to
give the chance to Rebecca.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. And I have to say, I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing all of the words, but I'm going to summarize the essence of what I'm hearing, which is that you see two threads along these democracy lines that you're interested in, the local and the more network. And then in this discussion, you were focusing how you can approach the local, or not so much how you can approach, but how to begin to construct a way in, I guess, at the local level into the various initiatives that you see. And I believe you use the word hodgepodge. That might be a descriptor to what you see happening in that local area.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Nationally, I kind of want to. I see some different initiatives that are being more sustainable. XR's focus on the environment. I see bits of the Labour Party trying to focus on the environment. I see a lot of the Labour Party is very focused on electoralism, winning elections. I really want to get them more interested in building community, and kind of work with the other groups that are doing the same thing, like XR.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is on the national side of things, you're interested in working with XR, and you also mentioned and the environmental platform there, and then you also mentioned the Labour Party, which seems to be overly focused on elections, getting elected, and your focus is more on the environmental aspects and trying to I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, well, I mean, most political parties are very focused on the elections rather than on the grassroots. It's kind of building community. There's not much focus on local stuff.
Yes, I'm hearing that the parties are interested in election outcomes and not so focused on what's happening at the local level.
Cool.
Okay, Rebecca, now it's your turn. You become a speaker and you're choosing an active listener.
Eva, are you available to be an active listener? No. Okay, so I'm going to give Andrea a break then. So it's you, Karolina.
Okay, I will listen to you.
Thank you. So I think I will just speak from what I know. I am involved locally in this very small rural area, quite a distance from any major city. And I'm becoming part of a transition town type movement. And within that, there's a study group tonight. And so we're learning about all kinds of aspects of transition. And the area I am most engaged in working on with my body is local food resources, local food sustainability.
Mm-hmm. So you decided to speak just from your experience, what you know, and you mentioned that you live in a place that is far away from any big cities, kind of local countryside or something like that, and you are focused, you are involved in a group in a movement called transition towns, and you trying to learn as much as possible everything that is connected to this process of transitioning community into a different approach. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you. So my little local group doesn't use empathy circles, but is very interested in how we communicate. In fact, I've had 2 4-hour workshops since I joined just a few months ago on communication. So it is an important aspect of this transition. And I'm grateful for that.
Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing that you mentioned that in this local group, process of communication is very important element of transition process. And you already had 2 workshops, few hours workshops on communication, and you feel very grateful for that. Your group doesn't use empathy circle, but communication is very, very important element of this process of transition.
Yes, thank you. I would say my biggest curiosity and actually concern about this whole subject matter is the transition, is the how do we get to there from here. And I would say even the there that we all hold in our minds is probably somewhat different, but or we would use different words for it, but certainly it's in alignment with the XR principles that I understand. Democracy, although I think of, socialism is probably closer to my vision, or social democracy, however. Anyway, thank you. Yes.
So you saying that although we speak different languages, using different terms, but you feel like we all are sort of on the same page. We all have the same ideas. Is that what you mean?
Well, at least the same direction, I think.
Okay. You can correct me if I misunderstand something. I hope you will correct me. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So you observe that if there is a transition town, whether it's a transition town or XR movement or democracy or social democracy or socialism, all day we all walk in the same direction, sort of. You observe the same pattern, the same direction of our actions.
Yes.
You want to add something?
I just want to add that my biggest concern is how we get from here to there.
Oh, yeah.
The transition.
Yeah. So for you, very important is the process is very important, how it goes from situation we are now to the situation we will be there.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Doug. That was a very important element. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So now it's my turn, and I will choose to kind of change the direction. Maybe I will choose Rebecca. I will choose you to reflect me. Okay. That was very interesting because I'm starting project that is very closely connected to transition towns, and we call it human permaculture. And we read books about transition towns, and we read Starhawk and other authors who write about different type of groups, different type of communities, self-creative communities. Yeah, we're trying to organize a social project here that is connected to transition towns.
So you are interested in where we left off because it's connecting to something in your life around that you're involved with a group that is looking at something that you're calling human permaculture.
Yeah.
Human permaculture. I'm very fascinated by this. And that your readings are along the lines of transition town permaculture in this group that you're active with.
Mm-hmm. And we're trying to build and it's also regenerative culture for me. For me as an activist in XR, it's a part of the idea of regenerative culture as well. And I'm thinking simultaneously about regenerative culture, about culture of empathy and empathy circles, and about this project. All is connected for me. And the heart of it is community, social relations between people, how we create our relations, on what values are the basis of our community.
Wow. So you're interested in this because of the connections between XR movement, regenerative culture, community, and at the core of is the essence of community, of connection, of these pieces.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would say that there is no relation other than people who create that. I mean, members of Empathy Circle team. But that's how I perceive it. That transition towns, XR movement, and regenerative culture, and are connected somehow. It is the same thing you said before. I see the same direction in it, and probably in the next round I will try to say more about this community we're trying to create. Okay, my time is up. I just want you to reflect this project.
Okay. I hear you saying that people are the core of all of these movements that we're talking about: transition town, XR, regenerative communities, and that they all are moving in the same direction because they are made of humanity.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but yeah, we can, yeah, yeah, thank you. Thank you, I feel heard. So now it's your turn, Rebecca. You are speaker again.
Okay.
You have to choose listener. You have to choose listener.
Oh, yes. So, Andrea, please.
So
Okay, thank you. So continuing along the lines of this conversation, I think it's making me feel that really what's important here is not the structure or the name of the structure or the particular process, but fundamentally the outcome of where it gets us to as people in the same boat in a dire situation.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the name of the process that we're taking together doesn't matter. What matters is where it takes us on our struggle trying to deal with climate change. Is that what you meant?
Yes, and I would just add that I think we're in so much more trouble than climate change that what I'm talking when I say we're all in this boat together in a dire situation. I'm talking about environmental devastation, social crumbling, economic, political. This sort of they're all linked, and they're all kind of codependent and crashing.
So you're saying that you use the word environmental devastation, and that you think there's a connected social, political, economic crash crisis thing.
Yes, thank you. And so my interest, for instance, in this call is because when I saw this online, I saw XR, I'm 2 thumbs up on that, and I saw the more local, 6 hours away, San Francisco Bay Area empathy circles, 2 thumbs up on that. And I just feel like, okay, this is good stuff. I'm curious, want to see what people are thinking. And I just want to say, I am so, it warms my heart to see the international scope of the people on this call and in this room, for instance. This is not me just talking to a bunch of Americans in an echo chamber. Again, this feels really expansive to me, and I'm very appreciative for that opportunity to connect.
Okay, so you said that you joined this call because you saw XR and Empathy Circle and you found it important, and you're infused that this call is multinational, it's more real and powerful views.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel heard. Am I running out of time?
You may end early if you wish. You don't have to use your whole time, but
Yeah.
it's up to you.
Yeah. I think I feel complete at this moment. Thank you.
Okay. So now it's your turn, Andrea.
Is Eva available to talk?
Eva.
Hi.
You will try reflect.
I don't like my mind. My brain is winding today.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'll respond to Rebecca then.
Okay.
So just thinking about some of the things you said, as far as what the transition looks like, I think we kind of start with voluntary groups, with people putting in their spare time. And what we need to do is slowly build up resources. Slowly get in our capitalist society, that's money. And as we can slowly get more and more, slowly set up one business, set up two businesses. There's different mechanisms for like non-profit businesses, co-op businesses. But at some point we start to move beyond volunteering into changing the economy, changing how businesses work to a more sustainable format.
Okay, so you're talking about starting points for movement, beginning with volunteering time that we have available and looking at models of business, nonprofit and cooperative businesses first, and then moving more to I'm losing it. You didn't say economic structures, so I've lost the end of what you said,
Andrea,
Andrea.
you can help Rebecca you can correct, you can add something. It's up to you, Andrea.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to, for me, what we need to do is get rid of the for-profit economy and bring in some kind of non-profit economy. So where investment is driven by social need rather than by returns on investment. A lot of different forms that could take, but we need to start. We can, in our local area, we can build kind of community funds, slowly grow over time, and eventually replace the for-profit system. That's how we get from kind of a small volunteering transition town project into wider system change.
Okay, so I hear you advocating for getting away from for-profit impetus to social-based, not-for-profit, based on social need, and by building in that regard, we begin to move aside the for-profit impetus, and we begin the transition away from the structures that currently are existing.
Yeah, I mean, I think as we build transition town, it's involves a lot of volunteering. I think they're spreading knowledge about the environment. They're building social capital. They're connecting with more people. All of that can be enhanced by having some paid staff. I think we're not going to change society unless we have workers who, volunteers don't have much time. Workers, they're being paid to do it. So as long as we have a kind of capitalist-like economy, we're going to have paid staff, and we need to get those within the movement and get more and more of them until everyone is working in this alternative economy.
So the transition town situation, it being volunteer supported, needs to evolve into, having paid support so that it is not just dependent on just on volunteers, that in order to increase the power of the movement, we will need, as in capitalism, paid staff to do that work.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. Rebecca, your turn. You choosing person to who will be reflecting.
Okay. I'm going to, excuse me, I'm turning my phone off. I think I'll choose you again,
Okay.
Karolina, just
Okay.
because I'll tell you, this is my first foray into an empathy circle, and partly because we're missing one person. I feel what hard work this is, and I feel how hard this is on my brain to capture your words. And I notice myself overlaying both of your words with my words, and I think I'm getting less and less confident as we go along about my ability to be an active listener.
So you're noticing how difficult actually empathy circle might be, the process of reflecting somebody's words, somebody's thoughts, ideas, and you feel like you overlying my words with your words, or somebody's words, ideas with your ideas, and you feel like you, with every step, it becomes harder and harder.
Yes, it's true. And it starts to make me, well, it doesn't start because I'm already feeling this way. I'm feeling my age. I'm feeling my memory and my word recall challenged in this process. So I am impressed with those of you who are using this process. It's a very active, engaging process.
So you discovering that this process is very engaging, and you referring to your age, that it's kind of challenging for memory and brain functioning, mobilization of mind, and you appreciate the thing we do. We practicing empathy circles. It's challenging, you think?
Yes. And that's just a small part of the challenge that we're trying to bite off. I mean, we're trying to change everything, basically.
Yeah.
How we live together, and to move away from the structures, the culture that we were all raised in. We recognize it for not supporting the living world any longer.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing you saying, that we're trying to change something we are. We grown up in, we were raised in, and we're trying to change that because it doesn't support anymore any living creatures, things on earth. So we try to build something new, a new model, new paradigm, and if I understand correctly, it's challenging. And empathy circle is a part of broader process. That is that what you mean?
Yes, it's a small piece. It's a small piece of this giant project.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you.
So yeah, so you mean that what we are doing here is a small piece of broader process of changing the whole culture, I suppose. Okay, thank you. So I will choose you, Andrea. as a my listener, active listener,
Cool.
to reflect me. Yeah, the whole thing is about changing ourselves, our habits, because culture we protest again, we try to resist. This culture or civilization is, we try to resist and we try to build something new. This culture is in us. We are part of it in every our habits, in every our breath, in our work, in our private family life. We have a lot, we are full of this culture. We want to resist and we want to change. And this is the problem, because if we want to change this culture, we need to change ourselves. And yes, I agree that empathy circle is a small piece of broader transition process that we try to trigger and develop. I stop there.
Okay. You were saying that the challenge for us is to change ourselves, and culture comes from us, and also we get culture. We are affected by the wider culture, and we need to have things like the empathy circles in order to change ourselves. And in changing ourselves, we change the culture.
Mm-hmm.
We need to use empathy circles and develop and build on them, to make them, to improve them, to improve ourselves.
Mm-hmm. So I really believe that empathy circle is kind of working on a new attitude, new approach, new behavior, changing my habits, because I observe how it changes me. I practice empathy circle every week, sometimes few times a week. And I miss circles if there is a, I don't know, holiday break. I miss circles. And I feel like I'm changing myself. But it is also a part of, it might be a structural part of many processes. For example, in this project I'm trying to do with few my friends, we engage empathy circles in some community processes. I stopped there because I'm talking too much.
Okay, you said that empathy circles are very important, but you're now engaged with empathy circles multiple times a week, and that you miss empathy circles in your normal life when you don't have them. I think I missed a little bit there in the middle. You were saying that empathy circles, you use them in your project at the moment, and they're very important there.
I meant that first it's changing me, the how I behave. It's kind of creating new habits, new approach, new attitude. But it's also for me a structural element of some situations in a project I'm trying to start and develop with my friends. So when we have, for example, community meetings, we use some part, in some situation, we use empathy circle for our community. When we do check-ins or check-outs, when we have kind of raising tension and we feel that there will be conflict, we call for empathy circle and we try to reflect each other so we understand each other when we feel we are opposing strongly. So it helps us to, it helps conflict resilience, not conflict resolving yet, because there is no yet conflict, but conflict resilience, kind of controlling some situation. That's what we're trying to do. So it's method of changing myself, my own attitude, but it's also a structural element of some more formal situations. That's what I mean.
Okay, so you said the empathy circles are changing you as a person and making you better. Um, and you said that they were a structural part of a project that you're developing in your area, and they are using them specifically to help solve when tension and conflict emerges, and it's helping you. They're helping to provide you with conflict resilience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I missed the last bit. Say that again.
No. Thank you. That's the core what I said. Thank you. Now it's your turn. You choosing person to reflect you. Not much choice.
What do I particularly want to say? Nothing on my mind. When is the when
But
we?
you have to choose somebody. You have to choose somebody.
I'll talk to Rebecca.
And you can say that you don't have much to say. She will reflect you, and you can say, "Okay, I feel hurt," if you wish.
Yeah, I think I've run out of my brain power for the evening. So there we are. No ideas.
So I hear you say, first of all, that it's evening there and that you've run out of things to say, run out of ideas.
Thank you. I feel heard.
Okay, well, so that means I'm up next, right?
Yes.
So Andrea, you can stay tuned. I am totally intrigued by this process because what I'm seeing happen here, and I don't know if this usually happens, but it's like the topic got us started and now it's taken on a life of its own in sort of where the exploration is going. And I was really intrigued by what Karolina just said about the term conflict resilience. And I want to sort of lean into that a little bit, never having heard the term before.
Okay, so you said that my memory's not working right now. You said that you hadn't experienced many empathy circles, and you'd noticed that the conversations kind of started and then taken on a life of its own and going in all different directions. And you said that you were interested in the idea of conflict resilience. You hadn't heard that term before, and you wanted to know more about what that was.
And I feel like I want to give you a break, Andre, because you look tired, and I appreciate that, especially given your time of day, and I'm sure your busy life. So I guess what I just want to say is I want to take this notion of conflict resilience. Somehow I think it's going to appear in my circle, my transition group, which, by the way, we don't even use the word transition. We call it Cooperation Humboldt is the name of our group. But we do spend a lot of time in conversation about things, and I think we don't spend enough time in reflecting one another. And I'm learning from this today, and I'm seeing the value of reflecting someone if there is a potential conflict or an actual conflict situation arising.
Okay, so you said you wanted to give me a break to tired, and you assumed I was busy all the time. You said you're interested in these kind of empathy circles, how they connect to your group. You said your group calls itself Cooperation rather than a transition town. You said that communication is really important, and you, from this empathy circle, you quite like the practice of reflecting back at people. I think that helps with dealing with conflict. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you very much. You just got blocked out by.
Yeah, there's a. Oh, yeah.
Okay. We have just 46 seconds left. We come back to.
Turtle, see. And there's a cat. What else have I got? So I've got, sorry, oh, there's a little panda. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
Okay, let's come back to the main session. You can push the button and we will meet in the main session.
Keeping on this, I think we'll do about 45 seconds. Maybe, how many people do you have? About 30. So.
Ouch.